So right now I'm at a very interesting hotel because I absolutely love it how uh, I love the staircase in this place. But anyway, I am out here because my uncle is in my room, or in the room that we're in together, and I do not want him to hear this conversation because he's gonna irritate me. But so yeah, I have been going to I had this idea in the coach. Actually, I don't even want to stand here, to be honest. I don't even want to be here. I don't like the idea of someone listening into all my conversation, so I'm going to sit here. But yeah, I don't like. So when I was on the coach, I just thought I'd have an idea. There is a lot of churches in Manchester, and I thought it would be interesting if I go to some of these churches and just see how they react. You know, I've been talking about how I want to have a mini camera, and to go to these places and just to see how preachers react to me calling myself God and them and giving evidence and stuff like that. And I didn't think they'd take to it well. And I really want to do the same thing, but have like a proper film crew help me film their reaction and stuff. And just want to it was a practice. I felt like even if nothing comes of it, I just want to have a practice of learning what to wear or what to say and stuff. And I don't know, the first place was a Methodist church place, and there was it had this big Methodist church, but I was a bit confused because inside it looked more like a library or more like just a centre where people go to, I don't know, there was a cafe and stuff. So and I asked to talk to a priest, and then she gave me a card and said that I have to call and make an appointment. And then I was just like, when I was outside, I was just like, if I call him, text him, say can I have an appointment, I don't think I'm going to get an appointment. Like, people don't respond to me, so I don't feel like I'm even going to get this response. So I just thought I'd tell her and say her what I believe and see if I can get her to respond. And she just said that she's not a Christian and that she's not religious, so yeah, I couldn't really get much from her. But this other lady who came past, who probably worked in the building, she was a Christian, and I told her my beliefs, and she was just like, well, that's not our beliefs, and you have to respect our beliefs, and our beliefs are different, and we have to, she was just treating my beliefs as if they were just my beliefs. Like I'm not saying that I'm God, that I'm not saying that this is my belief because it's truth, and because of she wasn't interested in any of that. And it kind of made me angry. It made me angry to think that this woman probably has a nice life, probably has a nice house, probably has family and love and stuff, and she's just dismissing my claim, not interested, not caring, just seeing my whatever I'm saying as just being my belief rather than my truth, and just not caring at all. And then I was getting a bit angry. I have to admit, I was getting a bit angry. And this other person came in who kind of looked like a bouncer, but he wasn't, because he said that he wasn't religious, but you have to ask God, and God will help you forgive and stuff like that. And I was like, no, I am God, so stop saying that. And then he was like, yeah, I believe, just ask God for strength. I was like, you're not understanding me. And then I gave a full, and he heard the conversation, he heard me get angry, and he said he believed, but I don't think he did believe, because why would he ask me to ask God for strength and stuff like that? It's like, no, I'm God. How can I ask myself for strength when I'm the one who's trying to talk to people, and I don't have strength for this, and I'm getting angry? But I learned from that I probably shouldn't just get angry, because that's just going to give people a reason to walk away from me. And I guess that wasn't the point. The point of this is, if I had a camera crew, the point of it would be to get people's reactions and for me to not get angry. This is why I say that I need to be in like luxury hotels, or just living a much better life and doing this at the same time. I want to travel the world and just do lots of interviews online and lots of interviews in churches and just get religious people and ask them why they're lying to people about me. She said she prays and that she prays, and this is why she's not living in sin. I'm just like, well, your prayers don't mean anything to me, because I'm God and I'm not hearing them, and I don't care about them. And yeah, well, we don't believe that. Well, you're believing in shit. And it does turn into a rude conversation because I can't say it in any other way. But both of those two people left, and I was just talking with this bold guy who said that he was molested by a priest and that he's learnt to forgive them. And I'm just like, why? Why would you forgive them for that? I mean, the only reason why you forgive them is because you think God is forgiving, and the only reason why you think God is forgiving is because the priest that molested you have brainwashed you into believing that God is all about forgiveness, hence you have to forgive him, when really they just want forgiveness from themselves. That's all it is. They preach forgiveness because of the sin that they are causing on other people, and he kind of, I think he understood, hence it was hard to be angry at him because I felt like he kept understanding. If he actually understood or believed, I don't know, but he was very good at calming me down, which I guess was good, but it's not good because I want to express my anger. I'm very, very angry, and I feel like the best way to do it is to express my anger, but I also started getting really, really thirsty during that conversation because I was saying so much and I had no water. So yeah, that's something that I definitely need. If I'm going to have one of these interviews, I need water to talk and speak, and yeah. And then I went to the second church, which was St. Anne's Church. It's got my name in it. And I was a bit impressed because I actually managed to have the priest was actually, free and available and in the back office, and I got to walk in there and actually have a conversation. They were both Catholic people. I basically said that I'm Eve, and I'm, the Bible is a bunch of shit because it's lying about me and it's leading people astray. And I gave quite a lot of arguments. I said that I was Eve. I got quite a long conversation out of him. And I told him, God doesn't do anything without saying anything first. So I'm telling you first that I'm going to get a bunch of people to help me film these interviews. And I want your priest to insult me and say that I can't be God, when in fact I know the truth because I have been studying and I've got the proof. And I don't know. He was being very respectful, but he was also making it clear that he had another meeting, and that other meeting had been arranged, and that meeting was more important. And I'm like, well, I'm God. Is that other meeting really more important than talking to God? And basically he just said, well, you haven't had an appointment, you've just walked into my office. If I come into your house and then start telling you something that you don't believe in, would you be angry? And I was like, well, yeah, but I'm God. You shouldn't be angry at God walking into your office and telling you the truth. You shouldn't be angry about this. If you've got the spirit inside of you, you should know that I'm telling the truth. The Jezebel spirit is not an antichrist spirit. You are the antichrist spirit for thinking that is the antichrist spirit, because it's not the spirit that you follow. And yeah, I don't know. He kept trying to be polite, but for me, he just looked like the Scary Movie. There's a priest in the Scary Movie, the one that sits on the toilet and goes like that. That's what he reminded me of. A very typical white-haired old guy priest with a little bit of youth in him. But yes, I wanted to meet this person who he wanted to meet, and I went up to him and I shook my hand and I said, hi, I'm Eve, yeah, I'm the real God, and the church is lying about me. I wasn't born 6,000 years ago. I just gave a little intro, and I just wanted to say that this priest wants to talk to you more than he wants to talk to God, who is me. And then I kind of said, I'm just saying this as a witness to prove that this guy wanted to speak to you because he thought you were more important than me. And that guy actually seemed kind of, I don't know, I think he had more ability to believe that I was Christ than the person that I was talking to. I don't know who he was. But I liked him more because I think he had a nice smile. And I don't know what that means, but he seemed a lot more open-minded than the priest that was basically just like, you're in my office, you didn't ask to be here, you haven't made an appointment. And I don't know. I think it's important that I do get appointments, but getting appointments is hard because it means that you have to write to them, you have to wait a couple of days for them to respond, and then you have to go specifically to a location. I might not be here in a few days' time, and then they also the question of why do they want? Who am I? What's the meeting about? If I just write to them and say, hi, can I have a meeting? I want to ask you some questions. Would they actually have a meeting with me? from how people have been treating me, everyone ignores me, no one responds to me, no one writes back, and therefore I just got a strong feeling that if I do start writing to the church on email, they might just start talking with other churches saying if this person calls you or contacts you, don't respond. I've just got a feeling that if I start writing to people, that is what's good, and have a couple of meetings, it's only going to be a short time before that starts happening. So I need someone else to make the appointments, to have some sort of chauffeur that takes me from place to place. And but yeah, I had a long conversation, and he wasn't insulting. I kept wanting him to say something that was insulting, and I couldn't get him to say anything that was really that insulting. It was just that you are not here. You're not here because of an appointment. You've just walked into my office. Christ is going to come at a time you least expect. So yeah, I want to come just by walking into a person's office. Why? Because I don't have the time to spend ages booking appointments. But I don't know, this has made me want to do more. I want to make lots of appointments and meet with lots of priests and ask them why it is that they don't believe. The only thing that I want to do differently is I want a camera. I want there to be a film person who looks, and I am hugely angry, but I feel like this is a very good outlet for me. So I feel like I can express my anger by having lots of these conversations, and it's only a matter of time before I start being like, yeah, I'm bored of this. This isn't. But I want the evidence that these people are not on my side. They do not want to listen to me. They do not want to help me. And anyway, then I went to a second church. It was around the corner from there. That was very close. And yeah, I tried to find the office and find someone in charge. And I don't know, I couldn't really find anyone in charge. Or I was only there for a minute. But I just noticed how lovely the stage looked. They had this lovely little stage. It had probably about 10 people in the audience, and a sort of podium with a little microphone, or I think it had a microphone on it, maybe that's me being delusional, but it just looked really perfect for me to just preach and give a speech about how I'm Eve, and how the Bible's the preachers are lying to you, and they're just deceiving you, and they've invented a god in their own image, which is male and false, and they've demonized the goddess and got rid of her. And yeah, I did a big preach in front of 10 people. You could have easily had about 100 people in that room, but there was only about 10, maybe 12. But yeah, I actually felt I felt very good about doing that. I want to do exactly that, only I want there to be a whole crowd full of people about to worship Jesus, and I want to go on stage with it being filmed and me start preaching that, hi, I'm Eve, I was here 23,000 years ago, I died and I rose again on the third day, yeah, that's me. And I do it in a bit of a comical way, but also very in an insulting way, and the guy kind of grabbed me he first of all asked me to get down, and there was 2 people, and then he kind of grabbed me by the shoulders and looked like he was going to pull me out, and I kind of resisted a little bit, and I was just like, I would love there to be a film right now. And then I was sort of telling him that he's deceiving, and then I shouted to the audience, what they've done, what the world has done to me is what they're doing right now to me. They're pushing me out the church, and they've done this since day one. Don't listen to them. And then afterwards I realised that I didn't shout my name very clear, so I kind of went back in there and started making it clear that my name was Anna B, and I want you to look it up and do your research and know that I am God. And yeah, there wasn't very many people in the audience, but I felt like that was a good practice run for what I want to do. I could do the whole interview approach, and I do want to do the interview approach, but I think it would be much better to just, because it shows confidence, it shows that I'm not just a mad person raving about shit. The fact that I could go up in front of an audience and present myself fairly well. I don't think I did an okay job. I just I don't know. You gotta practice makes perfect. But yeah, I also liked how after I was talking to that preacher in the second one, there was some gay guy who looked a little bit gay. And he heard me yelling at the priest and saying that his book was full of shit, and he complimented me on my top, saying how colourful it was, and I was like, yeah, I really like it. So I think definitely do that whilst wearing colourful clothing. You can't see the colour in this shitty camera that I've got, but yes, no one's helping me, no one's working with me, so I've got a very shitty £150. It's annoying, my uncle. said that his phone is broken, his speaker's broken. I think he was going like that, shaking his phone. Sometimes he shakes his phone, and he's broken the speaker. And he said he didn't want to buy a cheap phone because he doesn't want that. And it's just like, what? You're going to have a £360 phone because you don't want a cheap phone, and yet me, who needs this sort of equipment so that I can have a decent job, this was £110, it was very cheap. I can't remember. It's 110 or 150. I think actually the last one was 110. This one's 150, I think. But yeah, I'm going for really cheap stuff because I have no money and no one wants to help me. And yeah, do I want to wait for Josh to help me, Josh Whedon, because I want him to help set up these interviews? Do I want to wait? I don't trust that it will happen. I don't trust that I should just sit back and wait, because I feel like if I sit back and wait, I've got another 2 years to wait. And I don't want to have to do that. And the only way to stop me from waiting is to literally just go around all the churches. I need a bike, really. There's a lot of churches in Manchester, but they're all quite separated. There's a good 20-minute walk between them each. But if I was in a bike, it'd be like 10 minutes. So I don't know if I'm going to do any more. I might do some more on Saturday, but I feel like I should. I need to get the cards. I didn't bring I've got some cards that I can give out just so that people can be remembered. I think it would be, giving out a card is a sign that they would want to have an interest in what I believe. So if I can preach and give out a card and they take it, I feel like it's a sign. But yeah, my higher self would love to know how many of those just get put in the bin. I bet it's a high amount of them, I don't know. This world is completely against me, and I want to prove it, and I want evidence that this world just doesn't give a shit about me. Afterwards, I went to the spa. There was 2 in Manchester, and it turned out that one of them's actually permanently closed, so there's only 1 now. But yeah, there was 5 guys in the jacuzzi, and I thought, if I just preached to them, like, how would they respond? I'm not expecting them to believe or anything. One of them seemed chatty and full of character, so he did respond. But yeah, the others, one of them looked embarrassed, almost like, oh my God, there's someone in this jacuzzi who thinks that they're God. Oh, don't want to. He didn't even want to look at me. And when I said, when I confronted him about it, you just look embarrassed, and you look like you don't want to look at me. Like, you look like you're looking at a mad person, and you're too embarrassed to look at me because of what I just said. I confronted him about that, and he just said that he's gay. So, whatever I believe, it doesn't matter. He's gay. And I was just like, well, how do you know I'm not gay? Maybe the reason why the churches hate gay people is because God is gay, and they're against God. And I don't know. Why he wouldn't think that I could be bi. And am I gay? Am I not? I don't know. I find women way more attractive. But yeah, honestly, women that have a dick is actually a bit of a turn on for me, because it's like they've got all the glamour of being pretty, but also have a dick. So you kind of got the best of both worlds there. But I don't know. Am I gay? Am I straight? I don't know. I don't like humans. I'm anti-human. Asexual, I think, is the correct term. But yeah, I think pansexual is where you kind of like anything, and I don't know. I'm not in any mood to have a relationship, but it was weird how me saying that I was God almost instantly made him think that I hated gay people, which, to me, to think that I hate gay people based on the fact that I think I'm God, that just proves that you don't know anything about me. And yeah, it was really, really annoying how I've put my swim shorts on inside out. The first time I've ever done that, and it's just like, I feel like my higher self is just deliberately trying to piss me off. And the annoying thing is, a few minutes after they left, I couldn't actually remember who it was that I was talking to. There was about 5 in there, and I pretty much blanked out who it was that I was talking to. So afterwards I was like, is that one of the 5 that are in here? I don't know. My memory is not acting well, and my memory is being deliberately sabotaged by my higher self because she doesn't want me to talk to people, and I know that. But yeah, there was 2 others that were just like, this isn't the time or place. We're in a jacuzzi, we're here to relax. You've just gone on for a really deep conversation, and we're not interested, basically. And one of them just got out, and the other one waited a minute and then got out. But yeah, it was clear that me being God and me telling them that I'm in some sort of trap and that I can't talk to anyone and that I'm trying to talk to churches but no one's interested, this meant absolutely nothing to them. Nothing whatsoever. They didn't want to know, they didn't want to care. My trouble, my problems. And the other one of them said that I need a therapist. I need to speak to a therapist. That's the only thing that can help me, a therapist. If those people die, I don't care. I don't care. They didn't help me. They didn't support me. They didn't back me up. They didn't care about any of my problems. So I'm just going to really not care about any of their problems. And finally, I was walking around to have a sandwich in the park, and I noticed that the centre of Manchester is full of, 90% of them are male. I feel very uncomfortable surrounded by a crowd of 90% male who look all like they're not from England or speaking different languages, or I don't know, I didn't hear any English language. There was a couple of people that were English and looked English, but there was about 500 people in this square, and about 400 of them look foreign. And I don't know what's going on in Manchester Square, but I feel like it's definitely being taken over by foreigners. And maybe there's a foreign office nearby or something, but yeah, very few females, all male, and it actually feels very threatening, I have to admit. I'm insulting Birmingham a lot, but I don't know. Anyway.